again with another video. Thank you all so much for watching. So today is day 407 of the full-scale invasion of the war in Ukraine. So day 407 according to Deep State Map. Obviously the war in the Donbass has been going on for 8 years at this point. There's seizing of Crimea 2014. So the war between Russia and Ukraine has been going on for a long time, but day 407 of the full-scale invasion. So hopefully I have my days correctly. If not, then this will kind of be embarrassing. 407. So according to Defense of Ukraine, or at DefenseU on Twitter, so Ukraine's Defense Department, they estimate that over 175,000 eliminated personnel. So that's Russian soldiers, that's Wagner mercenaries, that is DPR and LPR fighters. Ukraine estimates that Russia has lost 3,600 tanks, which is, if accurate, if even remotely close, would be detrimental for Russian combat power. And if you lost close to 3,500 or more tanks, like, that is, your combat power and your effectiveness is slim and none. Russia has lost a lot of tanks, a lot of armor, according to Ukraine, over 7,000, and artillery over 2,000. So Russian combat power, effectively at this point, is just reduced to human wave tactics. So according to the Defense of Ukraine, over 170,000 personnel have been eliminated, over 3,000 tanks, over 7,000 vehicles, over 2,000 artillery pieces. The Russians have lost a substantial amount of combat forces, and they haven't really gained a whole lot. The advance into Kyiv didn't work, and they lost territory in Kherson, and in Kharkiv, and the map has stayed consistent ever since, like, October, November. And the fighting has been focused around a couple cities. Bakhmut up here, you got Avdiivka right here, Vuhledar, and a couple of others. There's been intense fighting in these areas, but the line of control and the territory really hasn't changed hands ever since Kharkiv and Kherson in the fall. Now, I want to really emphasize Finland has officially joined NATO, which is huge. It's phenomenal. NATO has gotten stronger, Russia has gotten weaker, and that is a good thing for everybody. Finland is very capable in terms of military fighting capabilities. The Finns and the Russians, or the Soviets in 1939, the Soviets did the exact same thing to Finland, or tried to, and they got bogged down and got mowed down by Finnish snipers and the Finns, and they basically fought Russia or the Soviet Union to a standstill. So Finland is officially the 31st member of NATO today. It's a historic day, said Jens Stoltenberg, and the alliance is stronger. Russia is weaker by all of this personnel and equipment that have been lost, and they really haven't gained a whole lot. The line of contact has stayed the same. Russian losses around Bakhmut, around Vuhledar, around Avdiivka are really high, and they haven't gained a lot of territory. I would argue that the Russian winter offensive failed. Bakhmut is holding the only real any sizable advance that the Russians have gotten in the past couple months is by the Wagner group. Wagner advances in Bakhmut And that's not in terms of miles. That's in terms of meters. Block by block, Bakhmut is holding, and forces are exhausted. Russia is using a ton of combat power, and they're not getting anything. They're not like there hasn't been any territory that have seized that have changed hands ever since the Ukrainian counteroffensives in Kharkiv and Kherson. The Russian winter offensive failed. Russian combat power is the longer this war goes on, the less combat power Russia has. They've lost thousands upon thousands of personnel and thousands of equipment in terms of tanks, artillery, armored fighting vehicles. Russia is losing, and NATO is getting stronger. And NATO isn't even in this fight on the ground. Ukraine's on the ground fighting and winning this war, while ultimately Putin wanted to divide NATO, but ultimately he got a stronger, more unified NATO. And that's pretty much the update for day 407. I mean, NATO's getting stronger and Russia is getting weaker, and that is a beautiful thing. Bakhmut holds, Finland's in NATO, and Russian combat power is severely degraded. With that being said, thank you all so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I will see you all in the next video. Deuces.